And I'm rolling. Good morning, everyone, from beautiful, sunny Florence, Italy. I'm looking over my terrace and I can see the sunlight starting to angle onto some of the flat walls of the houses around me. And first of all, I wanted to get down to things. Last time I had talked about working with the white and the dark on this red ground, and how that's mostly a transparent process. And I just want to touch quickly about keeping your lights and darks separate, because I also mentioned that, and I want to show you the difference between when you put it down cleanly and when the light medium and the dark medium mix together. Okay, so I'm going to go in close here. All right, and when you look at the white on the line of his jaw, and then move up into the dark pencil marks, and then move up again to his cheekbone, the white that I'm using to describe his cheekbone, you'll see that the white and the pencil never actually touch each other. There's always at least a tiny amount of that red primed canvas coming through. And by working it that way, you can keep your painting much more clean, okay? And just to show you the difference, here, you see those places, like for example, here, and right in here, and right there, where the dark and the light are mixing, and you see how they turn to this sort of silvery gray color? Now, there's nothing wrong with that silvery gray color if you're not trying to make your painting have this sort of pristine look to it, okay? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And actually, you might even try playing around in a composition related to content somewhat. Some areas which are clean and some areas which have a much more sort of dirty look. So there's that. And what I'm talking about today is revisualization. And what I mean by that is re-looking, removing, and then re-looking at it again. So becoming fairly critical in this first stage and trying to resolve some of the issues with the composition again that I started. Now, you might remember from the other day that figure in the center that I just showed you. He used to be right over here, and it was actually a completely different view of him. He was a much younger man. He didn't have this gesticulating gesture. And another thing that I've done since I've showed you it last is you can still see the remnant of this, and this is a common practice that I have. So when I go to the art store and I order some canvas, I always plan a good bit extra canvas on the back than what most people would use. And that gives me compositional shift room as I progress on a painting, because I might realize, you know, my first idea had things very tight, and I'm feeling that I want to open up some space and let the painting breathe a little bit more. So what I do is I take the staples out and I move the canvas to adjust for that concern for more or less space or compositional balance. And that helps me work with the knowledge that I can make those little adjustments as I go, and if that very first drawing that I have isn't 100% what I think I want, then I always have that option. So what I'm going to do today is I have what's going to be a chessboard right here that this author and that author are both leaning on. And I like in my work sort of these repetitive geometrical movements, and I like building them so that they sort of push you back in space. So what I'm thinking about is I'm thinking about drawing another chessboard over here in the foreground to sort of start this rhythm that goes 1, 2, and maybe there's going to be some, there's going to have to be at least a hint of some, maybe many in the back. And my big question is since this is a chessboard, I would like to have them all spaced out at even chessboard distances. So not like full chessboard where they're actually touching corner to corner, but if you took sort of like the next one over. So that's where I'm going. And to do that, I have, hold on, taped together several pieces of tracing paper because on my last project I ran out and I don't want to take the time this morning to go out to a store when I'm in creative mode. Creative mode is sacred. You got to go with that. So I'm putting this tracing paper here, and that's going to allow me to expand this square here all the way out to its corner, because I'm going to need that to understand how big the next one needs to be. And then I'll be able to draw it out here and have a look and see what that actually does to the balance of my painting before I start painting it in and losing some of the stuff that I've already started down here. So that's wrapping it up for today. Just to see who actually has watched this all the way to the end, I'm going to have a little contest now. Can you name who these 3 writers are? So write in the comments, and if you can't, just say like no, and then I know that you watched it all the way to the end. So thank you very much for watching. Please check out my website at www.paulbeal.com. Have a great day. See you later.